To find out that your girlfriend had been cheating on you is one of the worst feelings, especially if you have been together for a few years. I went through that myself, and I found it out by a random accident. Name is Marco. I learned that my girlfriend that I thought I was gonna propose to on our third anniversary had been cheating on me with a friend of mine for 4 months. I couldn't accept it. Even if she asked me forgiveness, I couldn't let it go. Especially when we had talked about moving in together too. We were still living separately at the time. I will give you a short background. Me and my girlfriend Katie started dating in our senior year of high school. I took the courage to ask her out, and she said yes. And I felt such thrill. And for the next 3 years, it was such good time until I learned shocking news. It all happened when she was staying over the night. I saw her phone on the kitchen counter while she was taking a shower. The screen lit up with George's name with a heart emoji. Text saying, I can't wait to see you tomorrow, babe. It made me sick to see that my girlfriend was cheating on with someone without knowing how long this has been going on. And the rest of the evening, I acted much like normal as possible I could. The next day, I called up my best friend Ronald. I asked him if he was busy with something, which he said no. Then I asked if he wanted to come over, so he did. He asked me what I wanted to talk about, so I told him, and he was in shock, especially when it was about George. George was a friend to me and Ronald since middle school. He was a nice guy, easy to talk to, and could make anyone laugh. Ronald said that he could have someone spy on Katie and George to collect proof, to, to provide that to me so I could confront her with the evidence. And I agreed. For the next few weeks, it was a torture to sit next to my girlfriend, kissing her or hold hands, knowing that she had been with someone else. But I acted as normal as possible, not to make her feel that I was onto her. After 3 weeks, I met up with Ronald at the cafe and he gave an envelope with pictures, and I thanked him. The pictures was consisted of Katie and George at a restaurant, dinners, cafes, the park, and even outside Katie's apartment, kissing. Just by looking at them made me sick all over again. But I decided to confront her the same day. I was in my apartment when she came over, and I asked her, so, how long has been going on between you and George? As normal as the old excuse, he's a friend, that they have been meeting up from time to time. But I said, I don't buy it, and I have proof. And I showed her all the proof of the pictures. And now she couldn't deny it anymore, especially when some of the pictures consisted of her holding hands with George and even kissing. If they were just friends, if they were just sitting by a cafe or having lunch together, that's one thing. But acting such flirtatious way, even in public, it was completely obvious she had been cheating. And she didn't deny it anymore. I told her it was over between us. And to my surprise, she said she was gladly to, because apparently the love that she had, the passion between us, had dwindled. And I even asked her how long this has been going on. Well, she said 4 months. And I was in a shock. So, after she left, we broke up. And of course, I informed some of our mutual friends about the breakup just to be sure so that she won't spread any lies to what exactly led up to the breakup. Well, I'm not surprised that some of our mutual friends actually stopped talking to her after they found out that she was the one who'd been cheating if she would start telling complete lies. But she didn't tell any lies. I was then still in as a quite in shock. But I was at least felt happy to be out of the relationship with Katie. But then, but after a few months, Katie came back to me when I was out for a walk in town, suddenly begging for a second chance. I was like, "What? There's no way I would go back will be with you." You may ask why suddenly she came back to me for a second chance. Well, it turned out that George cheated on her with someone else. And it wasn't even that long after they started dating. In fact, it turned out as long as when he was being with her, even when I was still dating Katie, he was also seeing someone else behind her back. So I was like, wow, that was incredible, crazy. But I told her it was way too late. I was seeing someone else, and it was an old friend of two of me and her, and she was my fiance already. I told Katie that when we broke up, I was going to propose to her on our third anniversary. But I changed my mind after I found out that she had been cheating on me for a few months. She was in horribly, she couldn't believe it. She was in a horrible shock. Then, with tears in her eyes, she begged over and over for a second chance. But I told her firmly no. And I told her not to involve herself in my life again. I was firm on that. And since then, I see her around the town lonely, but it did hurt a bit to see this. Because at the time, I was deeply in love with Katie. I was even considered to even actually marry her, eventually start a family. If I had found out that she was like this, even after we got married, then she may have still continued to cheat with George or perhaps with someone else. Well, I was actually a bit happy to learn the truth way before all that happened. And I have to say though, I'm happy for that, at least. I later married my fiancée Rose a year later in a small ceremony with Ronald as my best man. Of course, after all, he was my best friend of all people. It, it was a tough time for me, and you may ask, do I don't regret to leave Katie? No, not really. I mean, after all, I did love her at some point, but after learning the truth that she was been cheating on me for a few months, normally some people would give them a second chance, but for me, no, not really. If it was only one time, sure, I could have forgave her, but after 4 months of repeatedly, even in public, no, there was no way for me for even redemption of that. But I later learned that she did find someone else and even got engaged around the time when I got married. You may ask, are we friends again? Not exactly. I eventually moved on, forgave her. Yes, it might be a shock to people, but we are more like acquaintances now. We do so from time to time talk if we run into each other, like say at the store, the park, or anything. But I was very generally happy. that she had found someone else to be with. I was wondered, also a bit worried if her fiance was even aware of her cheating in the past. Well, I did ask her about it if her fiance wasn't even aware if about her past cheating. She nodded and actually was really honest about it. She was really honest that she did tell about it. He was in shock, but he could tell that she was genuine, happy to be able to come clean about it. And I'm really happy that she have found someone much better than George. And what about George? Well, turned out after that George cheated on her with another girl, and that young woman, she eventually learned that he was cheating on her with someone else, which were Katie. She broke it off with him and called him a dirty liar, in a better term to say it. But did I forgive George? No, not really. In fact, most of our mutual friends, including myself and Ronald, well, we broke off our friendship with him, and now he's more like a pariah from among our friends, which I don't even care, honestly. He pretty much deserves it. But yeah. But some people may ask, do I ever plan to, I don't know, like try to rebuild any form of friendship with Katie at some point? Perhaps with time can tell only. I can't make such a promise to myself or her, but I hope so maybe one day. And at least for that. So thanks everyone for listening to my story. Thank you.